Gentlemen, and welcome to a desync, I believe, already, because for some reason someone's in the circuit already. That's interesting. Welcome along to what can only be described as the circuit with no name. Welcome to Sochi. Welcome to what I've called it, the Iron Brew Grand Prix, because it's a nice place, but I believe it's the Sir Robert Autodrome as well. I think we have a slight desync already, because there's cars everywhere, and the lobby's only just started for me, so...
No, it seems about right. We've been loaded up for a couple of seconds. It's just we've been sorting out the stream, so I think we're all good at the moment. No one's starting a lap. Everyone's on their out lap still.
Yeah, slightly odd.
On the Haas GP, that's what I'll be calling it.
Yeah, slightly odd, but we are all up and running, so that is good to see. Now, if you are new to us, by the way, don't forget we are here. It is round number 12 of the season, of course. Mr. Walter, which is a name which I can't pronounce, leads this championship on 132 points. Rezify in that AlphaTauri second on 125. 5 points back is Pastor Jasper. That is on 120 points. And there's a few people coming into the pit lane right now. So a lot of people and a lot of excitement, as this is going to be 15 minutes around a circuit, which is very fun to drive on.
Yeah, very fun to drive on, very poor to race on. That's one that I know. TT, absolutely love driving around this track. In the race, can't stand it. It's, I don't know, it just seems to be quite a train back and forth, DRS overtakes down that straight, but we'll see. Hopefully qualifying is quite important here, but we have got one of those scenarios that we always see in a couple of races where we might see some drivers going for third or second place, not possibly first, because the run down to turn one is so long. We see in the game, just like real life, we see it quite a lot, bit of gamesmanship, in real life F1. I think we saw it with Hamilton, who ended up benefiting from starting in third or something, either last season or the season before. So we might see a few people qualify maybe second or third, with hopefully to get that slipstream run down into turn one and take first position. Well, turn two it will be actually, won't it?
Yeah, very certainly. It's one of those circuits where anything's going to happen, of course. For us, real ride on board with Mr. Jelly, who is going so far nice and smooth. Now, I wonder if he's invalidated there. No, he has not. So he's managed to get it all nice and done through there as he comes down the long, slightly curved back straight, might we say, which heads into the tricky braking zone. Carlos Sainz had a monumental crash here. I think it was 2015 or 16 it was. Such a long time ago right now, but it's purple sector 2. For Jenny as he comes through towards the back end there. That is the corner, which is so easy to snap on, isn't it?
Yeah, and the issue is here, he can't afford to make any mistakes because he's going for a run in those medium tyres, and you need to get the run on your first lap, really. He's going to come in and bail on that. He was hoping to set a good lap on the mediums and see what happens there, but obviously we know that the mediums are already a lot slower than the softs, so you make one tiny mistake and your lap's invalid there. But you can see the difference. The two people that have set a time, well, a medium's just come through there, 31.8, but look at the difference now in those softs, a 31.1, so I will be surprised if we see a medium inside the top 10, but probably just getting used to the track. But I've never quite understood that. I want my mediums as fresh as possible for if a safety car comes out later on.
Here are the top three protagonists in the championship so far. The top three, so in the order right now, low in a slightly different order. It's Walter, who's come back, of course, after missing last race. He wasn't here. He's back low in that Red Bull. He is now, well, I wasn't saying he was going to be alongside Rezify and passed up, but there is Plodder, who goes up into P3 so far in the Alfa Romeo. So the top three separated by what is 8 tenths of a second. That, you must say, an impressive lap time for your top two.
Yeah, very impressive lap time, especially for a banker on a track that's very easy to invalidate or just to get wrong. You get on the curb slightly, it messes up for the next two corners. But I'm just going on board with Mr. Walter here. I think he's going to be coming in. Stevens ahead of him, and this has been a season very much so of the front two have been Rezify and Walter. Japs has been in there as well, but very strangely it could go many ways. I think Walter has not started 3 races, so to still be in first after essentially that 75 points, like potentially he can't get, impossible to get because he's not started the race. But in the races that he has started, only 2 has he found himself not on the podium. So he's been very consistent. Before I stopped commentating Division 4, I always saw it as he wasn't the fastest in the group, but he was very, very smart with his driving. He'd always find himself up at the front because of that. Whereas someone like Resify, a lot faster, I think. Like, on pace-wise, I'd say he's a lot faster, but his race management, not quite where Wouters is, and I think the same for Japsa there. Guilty person of that, who I'm very proud to say finally finished a race and in the points position, Gel, in 22nd. Believe you when I say, after 12 races now, well, 11 races, sorry, Gel is only on 4 points. I'd go too far to say he's top 2 fastest in this whole lobby. He's rapid. He just can't seem to finish a race. So hopefully now he's got the points last week. This will push him on, and obviously he's not going to fight for a championship, but he can show people how good he is, and it's never too late now. If he puts together some good performances in his last 6 races, he could show the organisers of LE, I am good enough, I am fast enough for Division 3. And maybe he's just not quite got the finishing touch, and that should be coming through soon now he's scored a point.
Yeah, it's all going to be about that. There are a few people saying they're setting lap times on different tyres, but hopefully that's not an issue. Storm, meanwhile, he goes up into P number 4, so good lap time then for him. We've got, I believe, next crossing the line, that's an invalid lap time. That is KXI who's got an invalid lap time. I believe it's B Jordan, the next to cross the line in terms of those that haven't set a lap time. So, the one who is the coordinator, I believe, of this tier. So far through he comes. It's going to be a nice sector. 1 minute 5.4. Doesn't seem too bad there in Sector 2 as he comes around this, well, pretty lovely circuit here in the middle of nowhere. But left, right, and it is pretty much as 90-degree corners. There is a few nice flowing corners. There is, I think, what was it, turn 3. That long flowing left-hander. But everywhere else, just 90-degree corners, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very much... well, that's why it's such a tricky track, though. That's why it's so important to get your lap together, because it's all about how early you're putting on the power. And if you mess up one, it kind of messes up your whole chain of movement. So it's a very tough track to get together, but when you do, it feels very rewarding.
Yeah, most certainly. It is one of those rewarding things. If you hook it up, it's absolutely beautiful. If you don't hook it up, it's not very good. MCR, he did not set a lap time. Looks like he invalidated on that one. So we're just looking to see who is going to be next to set a lap time. It is going to be the one you mentioned. It's Mr. Jelly through the last 2 corners. Let's see what he can do then. Into the last one then. 1 minute 32. And he goes P1 then. So Jelly on the front row. As we mentioned a few minutes ago, he's rapid. Well, that definitely proves it.
Yeah, and I've seen this so many times now. Jelly goes P1. He started a few races at first, started a few around the top 3 positions. I just hope he can see it through now. Like I said before, he's finally got his first points finish last week. He can keep this through. Sorry, I was the exact same when I started in Division 4. I was qualifying first most weeks and then finishing outside the points or DNFing, so I do sympathise with him. And I think it's starting to come through for him now, and hopefully he can throw a spanner in the works in this title fight.
Yeah, most certainly will do. Meanwhile, the next car across the line, I believe it's the Red Bull then of well, I'm just going to call him Sir right now. I think it's Sir Uren. But there we are then, through into this tricky corner. This one's one of the ones that really unsettles the car. It's slightly off-cambered. And it's just, you get over it, it wants to spin around, but through the last 2 corners, down into 4th gear, chucks it in. And then will the rear end bite? The answer to that is very most certainly yes. Through the last corner, and he will go up to P7 right now from the Red Bull driver. Yeah, and that's another reserve. A very good lap time. I think he's a reserve. I remember when I left, the Constructors fight was very much between Red Bull and Ferrari. And when I look at it now, the last few weeks, Ferrari have absolutely soared into the lead. Red Bull are actually second. They've been overtaken by Mercedes after last week, the 2 Mercedes drivers scoring 27 points collectively. And I'm looking at the last few weeks. That's mainly down to Mr. Welch's teammate, Slayer, has missed 4 of the last 5 races, and he's DNF'd in the other. He's not scored since round 5 at Monaco. So it's very much been Mr. Welch carrying Red Bull and the Constructors. I think that's going to be out of their reach now. So not all gone out the window for Mercedes. They can fight through, but it's going to take a lot now to stop Japsa and Steven, who have been a very good team. You mentioned Mercedes, and you know what? Lixie on pole position right now, provisionally, because we've still got some 7 minutes to go. Across the line there is Ryan Berry. And Ryan B, might I say, he does not improve on his lap. So I'm looking through to see who is next to do a lap. I believe it's going to be the Red Bull of Mr. Ralter then, your championship leader. A little bit wide through there, but gets it all nice and controlled. Comes up into the last penultimate corners. He's got his teammate right behind him of Sir Owen as well. I believe he's going to come into the pit lane. Indeed, he does. The other Red Bull. So here we are then through the last corner. Your championship leader. Will he get it on that front row yet again? A little bit wide. He's invalidated to the line. And he does not improve either. That low, not what you want to be doing.
No, you don't, especially that close to the end. There's not much time as well, so there's a lot of pressure on the last lap through now. And you just said about Licks getting pulled there. I can tell you now, before the season started, we did like a little predictions contest, and LIX was actually the favourite for most people to win Division 4. So it's not quite gone the way he's anticipated. I remember in pre-season he was dominantly fast. So I'm not sure quite what's happened with him this season. He's on 94 points. Mathematically it's possible. There's 6 races, anything can happen, and all it takes is for him to have one win and the front runner's DNF, and he's right back in it. So it's not impossible, but he really has to perform and not put a foot wrong for these last 6 races.
Yeah, but certainly Resify. On my screen it said 6 temps up already. By the time he got to turn number 2, this could be a very good lap time, and he very much is going to need it if it's 6 temps up, because I mean, what is he, a 131.2? If he manages to do that, that'll be outstanding. Let's see what it actually is, though. As he crosses the first sector line, it is a 10th up then. Purple sector 1, that's nice and what he wants to be doing. So far comes into these, well, very difficult rights and lefts. Then nice over the first curve, and slightly snapping there. You can just see it as you are reacting to it. Just over the curbs did look smooth, and that less smooth because he's got just a little bit too wide.
Yeah, and you have to remember as well that 31.2 he got, I'm pretty sure that was on the medium set of tyres, so it's going to make sense for him to gain a lot more time in these last 2 sectors. Obviously the first sector is mainly just a straight. There's a couple of corners at the end, but it's mainly just the straight, so you're not going to lose too much time in that first sector on the mediums. It's going to be this last sector when you gain so much time in the soft, so Resify, a lot more time to find if he can validate it in his final run.
Yeah, most certainly. Meanwhile, past to the Jasper, he is going quickest. And there he is at 130.5, 2 and a bit temps quicker than Lixie in second. As I think you noted something there. Yeah,
I do want to point out, I'm not sure whether that was getting out the way. He'll have to prove that if someone reported it, but the stewards have been very, very adamant on the fact that you can't cut the corners to get back into the pits to be able to do another lap. So hopefully we cut to him at a different time. That was him just getting out the way, but track limits here, they're being monitored very heavily, and anyone caught cutting any corners for any reason will probably be getting reported.
Yeah, if it was for Pasta, I think it was getting out of the way. It might have been of Jelly, actually, to be perfectly honest. Pulling to the inside, just slowing right up to cut it. So he got a little bit lucky if that gets reported, and I think he might get away with that one. Looking through who next to cross the line, I believe we've got Storm. He's not on at that time. He's invalidated. We've got Jordan, who's invalidated. We've got the other Jordan, who hasn't invalidated. So on board with the other Jordan then. That is of REL Jordan through the last couple of corners. Well, the one of, I think, yeah, 2 Jordans we've got right now. There's a missing one somewhere. But here we are then, across the line, and it is a 13th position, 131.782 for the McLaren driver. Next up, I believe, is, well, we've got Esperane needing to do that. We've also got KXI, who's just coming for the last corner. This really needs to be a lap time because he so far hasn't got one.
Yeah, and this is looking not too bad. For 31.7, that puts him in 12, and the issue is now for him and Jordan, they're going to struggle to get another lap in. They've got to drive all the way back around and then get back out to do the outlap. I'm not sure they're going to have enough time to get another lap in, so it's looking like for them, that's the best time they're going to get. And it's not a worse place to be. To be honest with you, most Russia races I've seen, turns 1, 2 to 3, they're very, very messy. I think it's kind of better almost to be sat behind and make your way through the carnage afterwards.
Yeah, most certain. I'm seeing SD Brain hasn't, or hasn't got SD Band, sorry, so he hasn't got a lap time. So he's back in the pit lane. So it looks like 16th position for the Ferrari. The ones that are leading the constructors, one at the front, one very much at the back. Both of the Red Bulls kind of in 5th and 11th position. Mercedes in 3rd and 4th. So a lot of potential here. We're getting ready for the final runs. I believe looking through to see who is so far.
The Mercedes drivers there. They've both come out together. There's a little bit of very long straights. Could we be seeing some slipstream trying to help each other get to the front as Lix goes past Steve Day? I'm not sure whether this is on purpose or not, but there's a chance. They're being smart enough. Steve Day's slowing up, so no teamwork from these two, for now at least, but worth noting, teamwork, good plays here at Russia with 2 very long straights. There's a lot of time to be found there if you chose to help to give your teammate a bit of slipstream, as Jordan becomes our first retiree, along with Gel, as they realise there's not enough time to set another lap.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Pasta's managed to get himself back out with how much time on the clock? 1 minute 24. So he's not going to get a lap time in. I'd be surprised unless he's doing some corner cutting, but he's not allowed to do it. So that could be the end of his qualifying. Mr. Wooster, meanwhile, he is up by 25 100ths in the 1st and 2nd sector, up 2 tenths then as he comes into the 2nd sector. This could be critical then for what he wants to do. He needs to get a 130.5. I don't think he's going to do it unless this last sector is absolutely mega. He could get himself on the 2nd row of the grid though. Let's see then. Into the last 2 corners, into that 4th gear, chucks it in, rear end sticks, into the last corner, does not want to invalidate this time around, takes it up, it is on the 2nd row of the grid, but can anyone beat it?
It is a very, very impressive time, my chaps, and he's going out. I'm not sure he's going to get this lap started, so he's kind of just wearing his tyres for no reason here, but I could be proven wrong. The other thing is, even if he managed to get the lap started, which he could just do, those tyres are going to be a lot more worn than they needed to be because he's not been able to take this lap carefully. I think he's actually going to get the lap started, so fair play to him. The issue is, how much has this worn his tyres, and will that affect his pace on his final run? He's going to come around the last corner and start it. We'll catch up to him later on. 4 seconds to spare, but we'll go to someone else who's on a lap at the moment. Who are you wanting to look at the moment?
Looking at Lixie and Steve Day, we've got these kind of gaggle of cars right now all together, and got one of the Ferraris in between them, but it is Lixie so far. I'm keeping a little eye on in that Mercedes. Can he surpass the top guys?
Oh, well, Steve Day's put it in the wall. He's lost his wing.
Oh, that's going to cause his teammate. He has to go wide as well, but he's just going to get a toe off his team, well, off the Ferrari. If he's going to keep going, I believe he is. So let's see. What's the sector? It's 7 tenths down, so he's backed out. He's backed out his lap time. He had to take avoiding action from the stricken car. Oh, that was his teammate. Resify then in 6th position.
I think Mr. Welch is going again, sorry. He's going around the 2nd to last corner. He's gone for a 2nd run on these tyres, and it's not a bad lap at all. He's coming round. It's a 30.9. A 9.88. So he finished at a 0.9 again, and you have to think, if he hadn't gone for a 2nd run, if that was his 1st run, he'd have probably improved and maybe got 3rd on the grid.
Yeah, most certainly he could have done. We're looking to see who's next across the line. I believe it'll be Plodder. It will not be Plodder as he comes into the pit lane. I'm looking for it to see who is next. It must be the one who's currently up front, and that's Jasper, who was backed out. He's invalidated, so I think I'm next.
Got ERT Jordan, 2nd to last corner. He's just coming through. He's up on his time right now, according to the Delta. He's just invalidated on the 2nd to last corner, and that would have been a 31.6, which would have actually put him just outside the top 10. So it wouldn't have changed too much, but unfortunately for him, he did in the 2nd to last corner, and I think that is everybody now.
Yeah, well, the real big story, Jasper on pole position by 10th from Jelly, the man who, like you said, is having, well, had a wretched reign of form. Hopefully now, this is the opportunity for him to switch it around. We do certainly hope so. Lixie ahead of Wowster in 4th, Steve ahead of Resify, then comes Storm ahead of Plodder in 8th, Aledi in 9th ahead of Ryan in 10th, MCR ahead of I believe that's in cost, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but IRT in 12th. We've got Naramsam in 13th, ahead of Saronti in 14th. Jordan ahead of XK in 16th. Heat Melty in 17th. Jordan in 18th. And the other Ferrari rounding up the back of the grid. And that, you must say, a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I'm very surprised by that. Some people just don't have the tracks, though. It's understandable. Maybe he's just not put a lap together. I've had those tracks. I have it at Australia quite a lot, actually, where I just can't validate a lap at all. So hopefully it's just one of those. In the race, he'll probably find himself a bit better. But if the validation is the case, This is a track where you pick up a lot of warnings, so penalties could be a worry.
Yeah, most certainly. Yeah, you say penalties around here very easy.
You can run through the grid real quick if we can.
Yep, so we got Jasper ahead of Jelly, Lixie ahead of Wowster, Steve ahead of Resify, Storm, Plodder, Aledi, Ryan, MCR, then comes IRT, then comes Ramsad, then comes OnTG, then comes Jordan, then comes KXI, then comes Melty, and then of course the other two at the back, which I just about missed.
Yeah, and something to point out, very important there, 6th place, the second place guy in the championship, Resify, did do his lap time on the mediums, so it was a very good lap time for the mediums, ended up putting him in 6th place, so he's getting that advantage. He will start on those mediums, he'll be surrounded by the soft runners, but if he can keep within these soft runners, he's going to find himself at a big advantage later on in the race, because those softs later on are absolutely incredible.
Yeah, you want to make sure you keep the tyres. Nice sunny conditions above us. Now that is good. Here around the coast of the Black Sea. Here in Sochi, of course, for the no-named Grand Prix. Because, of course, we do wish all the support to everyone in Ukraine, of course, currently after what has been probably one of the most wretched couple of nearly over 2 months nearly so far. So hopefully that will end soon. But we've got a nice race to go for, haven't we?
Yeah, we have to remember at the end of the day, we are playing a game and we are just having fun on this race, and it is a fun race to have. So it's going to be interesting now running down to the front, well, the first corner, second corner. I don't like calling that a corner, but it is a corner. And something to point out for this track, if there is a safety car early on, which is very, very common here, for some reason, turn 1 people just seem to struggle with. I remember a few seasons ago, all 3 divisions at the start in the first slot that we stream on, all 3 divisions had a safety car on lap 1 before they even reached turn 1. So turn 2, sorry. So there's a very strong chance of it, and if a safety car does come out, those hards do go to the end. So for someone like Resify, if a safety car did come out, his advantage is gone on those mediums. Everyone, I would assume, will slap on the hards till the end of the race, because they will make it.
Yeah, most certainly will. Of course, it really depends on what the strategies are going to call for. Like you said, though, Resify are the only one in that top 10 on a set of medium tyres. If we don't get a safety car, and that's a big if, we shall hopefully see some lovely action, of course. He's going to have the likes of Storm and Plodder, Aledi and Ryan. They're going to be very hungry to try and get past him straight away. Of course, the other drivers on the soft tyres, apart from those in the top 10, is Melty and Jordan. Those two both on a set of softs. Softs, of course, around about lap 11 to 15. Mediums to lap 11, well, lap 14 to 23. Right there, according to AWS, our favourite little thing, which is never correct in real life. But nonetheless, in the game, probably a little more accurate sometimes.
Yeah, we're going to quickly go now. We'll come round to the last 2 corners. I don't know whether you do this, but it's quite a tradition here in LE. Your prediction for the top 3.
Well, normally when I make predictions, it goes horribly wrong, so I'm going to say nothing on the predictions, because every time I say it, someone's in a wall. That is a stat. What's your prediction?
Well, for me, I think Gel, I back him to finally get his win. I think he's quick enough, he just hasn't quite put it through together. Mr. Walter in second, it's hard to write him off. And Japs are in third, Resify in third. Although I do think Steven is going to be our driver of the day. I can see him storming his way through the field.
Well, we are just waiting then for Esteban then. The last car on this grid, the Ferrari then. His teammate waiting up the front. His teammate in the back, look, just getting into the slot. And then we shall get that lovely green flag at the back. And then, of course, those 5 red shiny lights. And there we are then, the last car in position. 2, 3, 4, pause. And most certainly, we are going to be go here in this beautiful race. And it's good start then from Jasper. Looks like Jelly, a little bit slower start. The Red Bull then of Wowster then trying to go around the outside. But now here comes that lovely slipstream trade down into turn number 3. 1 car up the inside. Jelly almost running into the back of the Ferrari. I think everyone might have just got through correctly as they all scatter in the middle of that corner though. So I think a few have got correctly, a few dropped back. But it is Jasper leading from Jelly. Then comes Lixie. Whilst ahead of Resify up to 5th position. Storming start there from the AlphaTauri driver ahead. now of Steve Stormer, then Ryan B. Plodder ahead of IRT, and further down the back we've seen bobsleigh for Esteban Jordan, and as well a few people on that medium size dropping back.
Yeah, a very, very clean start though for everybody involved. Very impressive to see. A very, very tight corner at such high. Everybody full. Nothing too major. I don't see one with even any damage, so that's very rare to see. Very good to see. Stephen already up into 15th on those mediums. Not many people losing too many positions. I think the max was in his 3 there, so most of it stayed the same. But look at these front guys; they are not waiting around. They're already looking at the moves, and the dream start for Japsa there, as Gel's got LIX all over the back of him. Alex is actually going to get a better run here. Gel went very tight into that corner, but he's not going to go for a move yet. And if Japsa, 9.5 tenths ahead, if he can break a second before DRS have activated, he's in a very good position.
Yeah, most certainly, that is what you want to be doing. Jelly is going to be under a little pressure. We got a
yellow
back
flag.
to Melty. He's dropped it at the last corner. Don't think any damage there, so I think he's got away with it. But are we going to see anyone try to make a move there down into what is turn 3? Looking to the inside, a few cars. But I think everyone's going to get them through correctly. We've got the Alpine there of Aledi trying to have a look up the inside of Ricardo, but goes a little bit deep. Has to cut off the front of Jordan there to stop that. Aston Martin coming up the inside. An overtake there for Saronti then. Up into what is now 15 positions. He battles with Esteban as well. But like you said, Jasper just trying to open that gap. Now back down to 6 tenths low. And that is all just with the slipstream. A little bit of a touchy exit low. But he's going to start getting reeled in if he can't open that gap pretty quickly. Here we are then, lap 2 of 27. It is Jelly in second position. And you can see, look at the train behind them right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let's look. The whole field's behind them. Apart from Melty and KXI, who has had an issue earlier on. We are running on board with Wowster. He's just sitting back, just waiting, as you most certainly do. You don't want to end up throwing one up the inside sillily early, because the last thing you want to do is get damaged, have to stop, and then completely ruin your race, isn't it?
Yeah, and what I was saying before I muted my mic to sneeze, I have got a cold, I needed to sneeze, forgot to unmute it, so that's my bad. But I was saying with Japsa, when he's in this place now, he's in 8 temps, he's not going to get DRS down here. I think he needs to use everything he can. It might feel like a waste, but if you can break it, especially at a track like this where it's so important, I'd use what you can.
Yeah, most certainly use as much power as you can. You're seeing the different lines, of course, coming out of turn number 3 into this beautiful long left-hander. He just keeps going. Then all of a sudden you open it up into the right-hander over that curve, which is so easy to go right. No one has got a penalty yet. We've got a car, and that is a Red Bull pointing the wrong direction into the middle of the corner, and just about lucky that Melty doesn't end up coming across him too quickly there, as that could have been a bit of a horrible accident. But like I said, you've got 2 groups going on. We've got first down to what is, I believe it must be around about, I think is it down to 10th, and then we've got a little bit of a gap then 12th downwards, so slight difference between there, but up front it is still Jasper leading this race. 6 tenths the gap, starting to come down, really starting to come down. I tell you what, looking at this though, Jasper not using as much ERS compared to Jelly. Jelly is going for broke.
Yeah, which is confusing to me because Jelly has the DRS advantage now. Japsa can't get DRS off someone, and with these DRS zones being so important on 2 very long straights, I don't think he actually needs to use anything. He can just sit behind him, calm down a bit. The guy behind him can't really go for a move because you're in that ever so famous DRS train now, and the other person that will be looking at this very happy is Resify, because if you look at him, he's comfortably sat behind these soft runners on those mediums, and it is a very easy strategy of soft to medium, medium to soft. So when to choose your pit stop is going to be very, very interesting here.
Yeah, it's going to be that crucial thing. Little bit of a tank slapper there on the exit for Resify. He's pushing those medium sides as well, just trying to keep up with these guys. They're all just kind of, like you said, in this DRS train. No one budging an inch right now. It is still Jasper leading this race from Jelly. Lixie ahead of Ralster. Then comes Resify, then Steve, and then behind them. It's just, it's like Noah's Ark right now. They're all just in a nice long train down here. Then, of course, we finally break that gap. That is where Jordan is with MCR. And we got a yellow flag. That is that the...
Melty again.
having an issue. Is he clouted the wall, I wonder?
I know him and 17th place Sorority, they picked up a penalty at the exact same time, so I'm wondering if them two had an incident. They're not far off on track either, but let's go back to the front grid for a minute. These guys all with DRS. I do think we'll just see some sitting. I don't think we'll see much position changing, which has always been a complaint about Russia in the game and in real life. More yellow flags. Is that overheating tyres for Melty? Yes, it is. He's really hoping for a safety car to make anything of this race now. But yeah, like I was saying at the start, these guys now, sadly for Russia, it has been the way the race has turned up, where you kind of just end up training each other and not many overtakes. So the pit stops is when this is going to really start to kick in. But Japsa holding on to first for now, no DRS, so he's clearly got good pace to be holding on to first anyway.
Yeah, Melty really struggling with those overheating tyres as we just keep an eye on this battle, all of them together. I think further down looked like a little attempt at a move potentially for the Alfa Romeo of Plodder, but you try and make a move around there, and then all of a sudden you realise I should have done that because you've gone offline ever so slightly, and now all of a sudden, instead of battling for 9th, he's going to be under pressure from Naransam, who's following suit in 10th. Further back, MCR has got the move, it looks like, on Jordan. Side by side there, the inside line for the Aston Martin has to sort of back. Meanwhile, the Alpine and the Ferrari going at it, and that is Esteban. Esteban slightly twitchy on the exit there. A little bit of wheel banning. Jelly with a time penalty. Now that, with that DRS train, that is going to be a huge, huge situation.
Yeah, and I think Gel's now going to have to start to resort to maybe pitting a little bit earlier. The only issue is if you pit earlier, you lose DRS because you're no longer in that train and these guys can drive off. It's a very tough spot to be. It's very similar to Silverstone in that regard, where you want to kind of, everything's telling you to get out of this train and get an undercut advantage, but you end up actually losing out because you're missing out on such a big DRS boost. So they're kind of trapped at the moment. They're going to lose quite a bit of time. Resify at the moment looking the most in control. Yeah,
most certainly, as you say, yeah, Resify just holding that gap. As long as it's around about 8 tenths across the line, he should be safe. Unless, for some reason, we're going to make it toe. But Jelly not trying to look for that toe, really. He's now in it, but especially out of the last corner, just not fighting it too heavily. And Lixie, you can see, he's just sitting there, just making his presence known. Jasper taking that very shallow line on the exit of that chicane as well. We're lovely to see these different lines, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm just thinking now, actually, when we're talking about Resify, there's one issue that he might find himself in later on. All these soft runners are going to pit around about the same time. So they're going to come out, they're still going to have DRS. If they don't fight with each other, they're on fresher mediums. With the DRS boost, Resify is going to be on his own. He could lose out a lot of time to these soft runners when they pit. I think they could actually, if they work together, if they were smart enough, they could pull away from Resify, because Resify is going to be in clean air on his own, yeah, but he's not going to get any DRS boost, which I'd say on this track you're gaining over half a second with DRS.
Yeah, meanwhile, it looks like we had an issue for Saronte then down the back. He's dropped it yet again, so...
Ryan B, body pose, side by side. Body pose goes very deep, pushes Ryan B off track. Sorry to cut you in there. And that's actually costing Ryan B more. That contact has cost him a little bit more. He's losing grip. Those softs aren't feeling great for him. And he's lost another position. They've made contact and he's spun around. And that's actually I think he's hit the wall there. And within 3 corners, that's gone very, very wrong for MCR. Who's now, for Ryan B, sorry. Who's now found himself in 16th. And he's very overheated. I think we might see him going to the pits.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him going into the pit lane. No, he's going to stay out then, so that's a bold strategy because look, round he goes, and you've got an opportunity, my friend. You could technically switch it left and go straight into the pit lane. I think, he's got stuck now, hasn't he? Here we go. Oh, I'm going to have to listen a little bit.
Oh, dear me.
There we go.
Oh, dear.
Chuck it down floor. Oh, and he's been disqualified. Oh, no, for blocking the pit lane. Oh, what rotten luck for Ryan B, disqualified here in the cruelest manner. It was like watching Austin Powers there. He just couldn't get it to go in the angle. Surely he must have felt that is going to be very, very embarrassing slightly. I feel so sorry for him. We've broken Nolan. He's broken right there. But Jelly now, he's got that gap back down to 7 tenths, but that is a huge blunder.
Yeah, that is very, very unfortunate. We did say, didn't we, like, at Russia especially, your tyres get so heated, you're screwed because of how sharp the corners are. They just can't handle the grip, and I really thought we'd see him come into the pits. He chose not to, lost it on the corner, and couldn't just get the angle right. It almost looked like he had damage. He couldn't seem to turn the car, so... Yeah, Ryan B left the session. I don't blame him. I don't want to sit and watch another 20 laps of this either. So, he's going to go out, have a cry in the shower, but we'll come back to where the action is currently, and it's absolutely nowhere, to be fair. Everyone's kind of sat in one spot. Maybe look at Steve Day. He could look at something here. He's going to have the run on Reservoir, that's for sure.
I don't know why Jelly's not trying to go for the toe here of Jasper. He's just not going for the toe, and this is just costing him time right now. He could have...
He's gone for it! Steve Day has got... Sorry, he's gone for it up the inside. He's forced... Well, he's not really forced Reservoir wide. Reservoir's been very cautious. Kept the position somehow, and I don't know how you may feel about that.
Reservoir having to take the old route there. Is we gonna see a little bit of battling again here between those guys, but all of a sudden Reservoir now back onto the back of Mr. Rouster as Steve drops back. So a little bit of argy-bargy right there into turn number 2, a little dive. I don't know if that would have done any damage there. I don't know if it's on sim damage or not, but if it is, if he's got away with it, he's a very lucky puppy.
Oh, and Steve's put it in the wall. He's just avoided the wall. I mean, he's hit the wall. I don't know what the damage is like there, but he lost it coming through. He hit like the sausage curb, tried to correct it, and this time he has hit the wall. And that's what we've just seen a few times, the example is Aleddy's now retired.
Yeah, Leddy's dropped it right behind him. Safety car.
And here we go. This is what everyone's going to be in the hard tyres now, and if they're not, well, we might see some mediums actually.
Oh, but I think 21 laps-ish, so they could do it. It's possible to go on the mediums, but like I said, it looked like just Steve Day dropped it, and then Aleddy just sympathetically dropped it. And unsurprisingly, we're going to see everyone straight in the pit lane, aren't we? Apart from Reservoir. He's staying up. Now, that is a gamble.
What? I think that's a very silly move from Reservoir.
Is he gambling on a safety car later on, you reckon? That's the only thing he can do. Everyone on the mediums, I think a few on the hards.
Even if he is, though, like, he'll still lose positions because they're all going to be right up to the back of him. They can stay out. I think he's made a big mistake there. He was within the top 5. No reason to stay out, sorry. He's just... If he pits now, he's got to the end of the race. So, I think his only thinking is he'd had to go into the hards and not the mediums, but the hards would be better at the end anyway, so... Yeah, I'm not sure what he's thinking there. I think he might have made a mistake, and this is what I was talking about before, where people like Wouter, for instance, the reason they've been getting these results is because not as fast, but a lot smarter when it comes to thinking of the end race. But Reservoir might end up winning, and I sound like a complete idiot, so we'll never know.
Yeah, well, anything can happen here in Formula 1, and it usually does. Reservoir low, ahead in the Ramsam. He has got his teammate low, who, well, he's going to have to be the ultimate blocker. It's going to be a bold strategy if he's going to try and hold everyone up so much, but, I mean, what? Reservoir's got to get to run about lap 16, really. Just get Chuck on a set of softs, and then he can go to the end. But the question is, he's going to be in the hands of the racing gods now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm confused why Connects have stayed out as well. They've had both stay out. The only thing I can think is, if they're in a party together, is he asking Connects to hold them off? Because if not, it doesn't make any sense for none of the AlphaTauris to pit whatsoever.
Yeah, most certainly. Steve Day and Ryan in the chat, by the way, saying what the swear word happened, and Steve Day just responding with whoops. Span out the pit, then was reversing and then got disqualified, is what Ryan said. Yeah, we know, we saw right there. Unfortunately, I thought, well, surely at that point you just floored it into the wall and just managed to take the damage on the front wing, surely, wouldn't you?
I mean, I've tried that at Japan. There's a famous little gif of me at Japan last season. I just thought, screw it, I'll take the damage, scraped the wall a tiny bit, and it completely DNF'd me from the race. My wheel just exploded off, so... Codemasters, they've made the game in a way where you can never quite predict what's going to happen.
Now, what's happened here to Esteban? He's stopped. What has happened here? Is this a set of medium size? That is... Well,
hold on, I think he's been quite smart here. Very, very smart. So, he started on the mediums, and what he's done is, he's put the hards on, and then gone back in for the mediums, and he thought, I'm not going to lose many positions. If a position at all. Maybe, I don't think he has lost a position from it. I think he was some very, very smart driving from Stephen there. That's actually a really smart thinking. So he's going to be able to go to the end on mediums. Technically fresher than everyone else is, not by much, but technically speaking, they are. And even a points position will be points for his team. So he could be pulling points out of starting last after doing this, and he's going to be looking further up. Japser, he's in 4th on these fresh mediums. Everyone else is on fresh mediums until 10th and 11th, who are on the fresh hard. So my guess is they started on mediums as well, and they don't see the they don't want to risk losing track position. But I honestly think it would actually be in good interest for Jordan and MCR to pit as well, put on the mediums and just lose 2 positions.
Yeah, I totally agree with you right there. I mean, so far, real gainers out of this race. Apart from the top 3, we've got Jordan up 5, up 6 from the other Jordan as well. So both the Jordans on a move, up 5 and 6. Real losers out of this race is Steve Day down 8 positions, as well as Aledi and Ryan both down 9. Of course, they are both out of this race for very different reasons. Ryan with a disqualification, Aledi dropping it pretty much. It looked like he just did exactly what Steve Day did, to be fair. Just unfortunately for Aledi, he hit the ball slightly harder than Steve.
Yeah, Steve actually lost it turning left, almost recovered it, and ended up hitting the right side of the wall. So he lost on the recovery. The safety car is going to come in this lap. So what we were talking about with Jordan and MCR, they won't have time to do that. They're going to have to bear it with these hards now. And we'll see how much that affects them, because the hards are absolutely terrible here. So I'll let you go back into the front. Very interesting restart here with the 9-lap-old medium runners. I think they've made the wrong call.
Well, 17 odd laps to go. I tell you what, Reservoir's bolted very early. And indeed, as he caught a few people out, I think he might have actually caught his teammate ever so slightly. We are back racing here in Sochi then. So far, we are in that 11 of 27, and it is the top 2 as they are now then. But Naramsam, with a little bit of a slipstream, he's not going to have a long up the inside from here. That'll end in tears. Indeed, he backs off of it. Further down the field, meanwhile, a few people just warming their tyres up right now. Wasty battling with Lixie there. I think that's with Storm, actually. My apologies. Down there, but I think, as per usual, everyone here being relatively nice and smooth through the first couple of corners. No one having a real look. Now, Ramsam, with a time that he is pushing on to try and close up to Reservoir, if he's got an opportunity to try and jump him, it's probably right now, because we know Reservoir, a very quick puppy dog at the best of times.
Yeah, it's Ramsam there, very, very close behind it. He's had a few times now where, the two McLarens next to each other in track. I'm just thinking there, would MCR be better to let Jordan pass? He's braking a lot earlier, and that's twice now Jordan's almost gone to the back of his teammate. I think we might see a position switch here, maybe. Does it make sense for MCR to stay ahead on those hards?
Well, let's see. Well, he's going to get past, I think, on pure pace on this. We're going to see a sudden jump.
Yeah,
I think he's letting him through. Yeah, team orders there, but as he lifted off slightly too early, I think he's gone away with Esteban. Can't get through as well, so they remain as they are down the back, which is all nice to see. But Reservoir now with a 1 second advantage from the Ramsam. And here, now at the inside for a second, Jasper was going to have a look up the inside. Can't quite do it, just sits back, just relaxes.
They're going at, yeah, well, you're definitely correct there. They're going at it at the back as well. Japser, like we said, he's on those fresher mediums. He's looking at it for next. He's going to try and go around the outside, which isn't going to set him up the best for this corner. Maybe he's up for he's using as much as he can. He's clearly got better straight line speed, and he's holding it on, and Connector's gone very, very deep. Very deep there, and he's going the correct route around. He's actually lost 2 positions.
Look at Jelly here! Ran the outside as he got it done. It was a compromised exit then from Jasper. Oh no! They come together again, and Jelly spun around, and his rotten luck continues. It was almost perfect. It was almost textbook. But as again, he's gone backwards.
Yeah, and that's what I'm sorry to tell Jelly, he's going to feel so hard done by, but that is his own fault. He was never ahead of Japser in that corner. That's not a corner that you hang it on the inside out. He should have backed out of that, and he's going to feel like that was someone else's fault, and he's going to be frustrated. But these are the reasons. He's always up near the front, but he just, I don't know if he loses his head or he gets excited, but he just seems like you don't hold it in that situation, as Japser's broke way too late. He almost went flying into the back of the flip Namshram there. very, very lucky to avoid him, and I don't know how he's not spun it either. They're both alive somehow, but that was very, very close to a DNF for Jasper, and potentially for one for Namsham as well.
Oh, I was literally about to say Lix was going up the inside of Connect Lane, and all of a sudden, there a Ferrari, which I just about missed, going skating off the road. Well, he's going to have another attempt at it. Is Jasper. Jordan's dropped down a few positions as well. He's in the pit lane, is Jordan, so I wonder if he's got some kind of damage. Here comes Lexi, trying up the inside. Little bit of movement there from the AlphaTauri, just blocking perfectly then and holding back. But with a better exit is Lexi going to try anything. The outside line, and he's not going to be doing anything from this far back at least. He's going to sit back for the time being, looking through the rest of the field. The McLaren of MCR definitely dropping back. He is just ahead of Saronti Len down in 13th, ahead of KXI. And then, of course, Melty Jelly now back in 16th. Jordan down in 17th on a set of medium tyres after that mistake earlier on. But Jasper needs to try and be careful. He doesn't need to worry too much about Resify, or really even around Sam as well. He just needs just to be cool, just to be relaxed. He has the pace, he has the DRS, and we have got Plodder off into the wall, I think, there. But here is Jasper, now to the inside line, to the outside of the next corner. Nicely done, nice on the brakes, and gets it stopped this time around.
Yeah, and he got quite lucky there, didn't he? Because the yellow flags did come out, so maybe half a second later, and he wouldn't have been allowed to overtake.
Look at this! So. Saronti's round right in the middle of the pack, and somehow has caught that, and there's no calamities there. As the outside then is going to be MCR. He'll have up the inside of the next corner. So I do not know how Saronti did end up in the wall into the pit lane. That's a no front wing for Plodder. That's because he had damage. That was why everyone was getting very, very close then. And here, all of a sudden, Jasper on Resify. Resify not going to battle this one this time.
Yeah, and Japser now has taken the lead of this race. He's actually got past Namstram and Resify. So he's in the lead of this race, and Resify still has to pit. And this strategy that I said that they went for is really starting to bite them. And I think Resify is going to be wishing he did pit now, because Japser, even if a safety car now comes out, he'll still be in the lead.
Yeah, you're most certainly right. I mean, this is a very, very big error on the part of your, on the one of the championship leaders so far. A critical mistake when you don't want it to happen with a strategy call. He's going to have to gamble on a safety car, but even if he does, he's going to drop, he'll drop outside the top 10.
Yeah, well, it depends. If it came out now, I feel like these medium runners might pit again and put on a fresh set. I'm not too sure, though. But later on, he's running out of time, because we have to remember, his mediums are still going to be losing degradation. They're still going to be losing pace. As this goes on, he's just going to get slower and slower. And these guys are always going to be faster, and they've always got fresher tyres now. And Mr. Walter's got a great exit out of that corner, so he's going to come up the inside of Lick's gone very, very deep, but he technically clean. Dangerous, but technically clean. No contact was made, and that puts him theoretically in P2.
Yeah, late braking then. He just back God stopped it, but now with the help of some DRS, with the help of some nice ERS as well, Roster's just slight wiggling there. He doesn't.
I think that was an apology to Leaks, actually.
Yeah. It might have been. It was a very audacious move. He got it stopped by the fact that Leaks, he had to really bail out of him. He wanted to be nice, maybe he could give that position back, but we are racing here and no one really wants to give positions back. I tell you what, here is Connect going to have a look up the inside into this corner. They braking. Is this how you do it? Let's see side by side. They just about survive. Naramsam holds the outside line, and that corner, very, very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, and what we're seeing here, especially in these 90-degree corners, drivers like Mr. Walters, they go side by side again, more contact made between Namshan and Connects, and this is going to end dangerous if they're not careful. And people like Walter and fresher tyres, they can brake a lot later. And he's actually got a better run. He's gone for it up the. That's a really weird place to go for it. They've made contact. Connect's making contact nearly every corner at the moment with people. As Pony Poles has had to retire, I think he's called it a day in this race.
Safety car.
Safety car. And Mr. Walter up into P4, and now you have to think Resify and Namshan, they're going to have to pit now.
They can go. Let's see. On the softs. They will go on the soft surely, because they can make it now.
Oh, let's see what Japser does. This will be very interesting. Japser in first in a tough spot. I'd pit, yeah. It makes sense to pit. Mr. Walter now, what does he do? Does he stay out? No, he pits as well.
They're all going to come in. Surely all of them on a set of soft tyres. I'll be surprised to
No,
see if
Lick
anyone
stays out.
Ooh, Lixie. Now,
And that might be a really smart move, because they're all going to be fighting each other on those softs.
Well, you say that, we can see like a whole trail of them staying out there. We've got Steve Day, so the top four
no.
all out. Jasper, they're all going on a set of softs, right? Yeah, they are soft tyres for him. We'll have a look at all the tyres. Reservoir on a set of soft. We've got Jelly. He's back up now into 5th position on that set of mediums from that spin. So, still on for some points so far for the driver.
Oh, Walter's missed out big time.
Has he got held?
Oh no! He was ahead in Amsterdam, I'm sure, but maybe he's not missed out too much. The issue is with these drivers here. I think they needed more people to pit. They've got 6 runners. Those medium tyres, they're not going to be awful. They're only 6 laps old. They're going to have some curing now. They're not going to be using too much deg over these next few laps. I don't think those medium runners are going to be as easy to overtake as it may look on first glance, especially when you're fighting other soft runners. The issue here is they will be able to brake concerningly later, compared to the medium runners. I think we may see a few broken wings, a little bit of mess in these last few laps, which obviously for us as spectators is very interesting to watch. For the drivers, this could get really interesting now.
Yeah, most certainly. There is never a dull moment here in LOE. If you are just new to us, don't forget, by to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell as well. Don't forget, we've also got the other divisions live currently as well. I think it's Division 3, and it might be 2 also live right now. I think we've got 1.
Yeah, normally 2 and 5 are later on. I used to commentate Division 4, then hop into my D2 race just to DNF.
Well, there we are. So, the accuracy there from a person who knows a bit more than me about when everything is live, which is always good, because I never, well, it's my second week here, and first time doing full lead comms. Hopefully, me and my other person is back next week, of course. I don't know why he's not here. I think he might have a bit of an illness or some reason, but
is it J. Cole that you're with now?
It is. I've forgotten. Yeah. What I've done here.
J. Cole is in a 24-hour race at the moment. He's racing. I don't know if he's racing himself for 24 hours, but he's partaking in a 24-hour racing event. I will just point out now, actually, it's Division Ben. 1. Oh, you're Ben. All right. Well, Ben. Division 1 anyway is in lap 21. I don't know how this has happened. They're on lap 21 in the rain, and we're on lap 17 in the dry.
Yeah, so we started later though, didn't we?
Yeah, to be true, we did. But yeah, rain at Russia. Not where I'd want to be, personally. No. I wouldn't be there at all, to be honest. But,
no.
Division 3, lap 20 as well. So, everyone, similar pacing. I'm going to guess there's been a safety car there as well. But as it comes to this race, I understand why Lick stayed out, because he's currently 5th.
Oh,
he's just outside
Melty.
the title fight.
Sorry to cut you off there. What has happened there to Melty? He has had a severe collision with, and look at this, what has happened down here? Has that no front wing? That is no front wing. Now, what on earth has happened to Melty right there?
That is very strange. I wonder if there's somebody with rear wing damage at the cause of that, maybe.
It was with Sorrente.
I think just gone straight into the back of him, maybe. I'm trying to see if I can see Sorrente's car. I don't know how you see rear wing damage in this game.
Looks fine looking back on the onboard, so it doesn't look like, unless of course it might be rear diffuser damage, which is always possible. Depends on how heavy the impact was. It wasn't as heavy as it would have normally been because he's still in this race, so he might get lucky. But unfortunately for him, if the safety car comes in this lap, which, knowing me, it probably will right about now, is Melty dropping. What's going on down here? I think it's about to getting out of the way of a few people here. Safety car in this lap. So,
this is going to be chaos.
Will lead this field from Storm. Yeah, this could get very chaotic. Then comes Jordan. Then comes Steve Jelly, who is going to be going for, surely trying to hope for a top 5 position. But he's got one. Well, he's got at least 5 or 6 very hungry guys right up his rear, ready to pounce at any moment. But in just a few moments' time, when is Lixie going to go? Is he going to go early? Is he going to go late? Well, he's going to go now, is the answer to that one. And we are back racing then here in Sochi, here on the Black Sea then. And it is Lixie leading from Storm ahead of Jordan. Then comes Steve. But it looks like Jasper's got a very good start here. Storm as well, good start. We've got yellow flag. That is Melty retired in the pit lane. But here comes Storm, looking up the inside into turn number 2. Can't quite do it. Jordan looking as well as I think everyone again through these first couple of corners, getting it through, nice and smooth. Jelly looking on Storm, looking on Steve Day. But everyone so far just keeping it nice and smooth at the beginning of this race. No one trying to take an unnecessary risk. Stormlow trying his hardest.
Yeah, and look, if you just stay on board with Japsa for a moment, this is what you'll notice. He can brake so much later, and he's almost gone into the back of these medium runners, because obviously they can't brake when he can. So he's going to kind of have to adapt. Probably knows Gel goes quite wide there. He can't get the full advantage of these
he's hit him!
Has he done it? Has he got away with damage? I think he's got away with no damage.
Oh, well, he might get sideswiped there a little bit. Jelly giving him no room whatsoever. But he's going to have the inside. Jelly just trying to be a little bit cheeky. Is he going to have the inside line to be brave? Because Jelly laid on the brakes. That'd be good if he could stop it, but I think he's still there. And Jelly,
he's made contact.
And now they're all getting bunched up. This is what you mentioned. This is what you mentioned about the carnage. And I think contact with Jasper. Jelly's hit him. Jelly's hit Jasper again. These two are getting a little bit close quarters as they're all of a sudden bunching right up as all contact. Then the other Ferrari of Esteban in the wall. And he's really in the wall now. He's broken it, spins it round and into the pits.
Yeah, this has been absolutely counter. And this is what I'm talking about. And Jelly, once again, showcasing just no patience whatsoever. Very, very dangerous driving for him. We see it quite a lot now. And he's have to really start to calm it down because he's very lucky that didn't end up damaging quite a few drivers behind him. I know that really almost damaged Resify. He had to back off greatly. But for Japsa, lucky to get away with no damage. He is now ahead of Gel and, most importantly, causing a gap between him and Resify, who he is technically fighting in the championship.
Yeah, that is the thing indeed. He needs to try and get as many positions as he can. Then the Ferrari driver just taking his time though right now. That's just what you want to be seeing. Not trying to go for a move too early. Wait, of course, just a little bit because you've got the advantage. That advantage is going to drop as this race goes on, but he's got a bit of time. I say that, and he almost drops it. I think, is Jelly going to use as much of his ERS? Is he going to try and make a lunge? Is the question, I wonder. I think not. I think he's going to back out low, saying that, as we say, Jasper is so late on the brakes, not taking anything, of course, on those soft tyres, just pushing hard as he can. And he wants to be careful to overheat the tyres either, because that's easy to do. He's right up behind Steve. Not going to make a move at the last couple of corners. He'll wait, get the slipstream, and he'll make a move down into turn number 1, I reckon.
Yeah, obviously DRS now enabled. He won't get it down here. This activation zone, obviously. Oh no, he will. It's enabled now, so he's going to get it. This should make his move quite easy. He's going to be able to brake a lot later than Steve Day. Sorry, if he's obviously if this is safe and sound, Steve Day's going to try hang it, and he does. Very well played by Steve Day. Very fair. Patch has lost a bit of time. Gel's actually going to come try around the outside on the mediums.
Oh, he's lost it, Jelly! Oh no! Oh, Jelly! Where is Jelly? The cameraman doesn't want to show him. There he is. And for the second time, Jelly trying to go around the outside of Jasper has lost it. And it's like a curse for Jelly right now. He is absolutely melting.
That was it. He had the run. It looked like he was just losing it because obviously Japsa was on the inside on those softs and the grip started to go. Obviously those mediums not as grippy and he just completely loses it. Japsa will be counting his blessings because that could have ended very naughty. Is how he's going to storm past Steve Day. It's looking. Can Steve Day hold on again? Kind of taking away from Steve Day's magic there because we must point out very, very well done as there. Side contact made. This corner is causing quite a few issues for people, isn't it? We've seen a bit of contact, but Japsa finally definitively passed, you'd assume. Steve Day, though, very, very well done to hang it on the outside turn 2 there. And every lap that goes on, these softs get a little bit worse, and Lick's looking a little bit more likely to maybe just hold on to this.
Oh, it's going to be close though, because look, he's got Storm not too far behind, then he's got Jordan, and then, well, surely we're going to see in a minute Jordan being completely passed by Jasper. Look, Jasper with the DRS, can't close enough because Jordan has the DRS on Storm, who's got the DRS as well on Lixie, so it's all going to be about what pace he can do. Resify, meanwhile, gets
Jordan's moved out the way.
Steve there at the inside is Steve. It's like I said, yeah, Jordan getting out of the way. That's very odd, as we got a yellow flag. That is Jelly, who's retired in the pit lane, unfortunately. So Jelly's day has come to an end with yet a nil par on the order right now. But yeah, it's so interesting. Jordan getting out of the way there. That's surprising.
I mean, I know Jordan. He doesn't seem like the kind of person that... I feel like Jordan's trying to do this for his own advantage. Maybe thinking Japster will cost these two time and I can then get him. Obviously, Storm's got a penalty, so Jordan knows... I think he's thinking of the podium, but now he's got Resify behind him as well. I don't know. That's a very interesting one, that...
We'll find out, of course, but like you said, Lixie, Storm closing up between these two, both of them, no ERS, well, pretty much all of them no ERS, late braking, low for Jasper, and almost hits him. He's literally pushing Storm right now. He's saying, move, I'm going for first, and he's going through the inside line. He's got it done, but the Haas trying to hold it and ran the outside. Jasper rather just using the pure...
Oh, look at it, look at the gap. Is he just inside DRS?
He is. He's just get inside, but I don't think he attempts the gap. He's going to be a little bit there. Storm will have DRS, but he's not going to be able to close up, I doubt. Further back, here's Resify. He's going to get past Jordan. Jordan just dropping down the order. Up the inside then comes Resify, but goes too deep. Now that I think he might get him some trouble there. He didn't go past that left bollard, which I think he should have.
Yeah, and he's done that a couple of times now, and this all depends if somebody calls him out on it. Obviously, we can only commentate what we see. It's not down to us who... Yeah, he is. He's letting him through there, avoiding any trouble. I think he knows I can probably get past him again on these tyres, but I think something to point... that wet pass by Jordan before, if that didn't happen, Japso would have been quite far out of DRS from LAX, so maybe Lix might not be too happy about that, but... You're racing for yourself at the end of the day. Jordan doesn't owe Lix anything, and he'll be thinking, if these two fight enough, I can get in a position here.
Well, here we are then, battle for the lead. Here is Jasper. Lixie, if he's going to try and defend, he's got to go right and just try and do something, or just stick middle and make it as hard, but...
He's not close enough.
He's not close enough. Did he not use his DRS there, I don't think? Because it was in 3 temps, unless he's trying to slide up and move into turn number 1.
Oh.
Meanwhile, what has happened further down?
Resify's lost it! I don't know. I don't know if there was contact or he's lost it, but either way, he's in 13th place now.
Oh, that's drama that there for the man who's so hoping to get the championship. Wowster in trouble down there in 7th. That could be all or nothing then for the championship. Here now, with a decisive moment, in comes the Ramsam. I wonder if he had damage. But here is Jasper to the inside line. It's like taking candy from a baby. Down he comes, then the Ferrari swoops through into the lead then. Here in Sochi on lap 23 of 27. And now is in the lead.
Yeah, and something I want to point out there. I think very smart driving. You pointed out before, Japsa probably wasn't using his DRS. I think he knew, I'll just get DRS on the next straight, and then Sector 1, very, very tyre dependent. Look at these corners here. He's going to gain so much more time on the softs. I think he knows he can almost break the gap. But 6-lap-old softs, 13-lap-old mediums, I don't think there's much between them nearly at this point.
Yeah, the doubt, lap 12 I think these tyres can go to, so they'll easily make it to the end. They'll start getting, I think, around about 50-60% wear, I believe. But yeah, the gap, 8 tenths of a gap right now. Further back down the field, we have got Steve coming at Jordan. Jordan in some trouble. Here is Steve up the outside line. They're going to make it free of press nearly there for a brief second. Jordan backs out of the move. Here up the inside is... his connect got it stopped. Yes, he has, but I think was a little bit forceful. He's in the wall is Steve, and he's really not having much luck right now. Is that Mercedes driver with rear grip?
No, and that was once again in that corner we've seen it. The driver on the inside just not braking in time and almost pushing the driver on the outside off the track to get the move done. I think we've seen it about 4 or 5 times. I don't think people are estimating just how much speed they're carrying with DRS. You go very, very fast and you can't get the car stopped in time. This has worked out for Jordan. 2 drivers ahead of him with penalties. Jordan and Wout are scrapping for a podium position here.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is actually going slightly better than I think Ralston probably would have hoped for right now. guys ahead have penalties. In terms of those penalties, they are both 3-second time penalties. The gap between these guys is, well, to the leader, it's 3.8 seconds. So you surely imagine he'll jump up into that third position. Will Ralston right now, of course. Lixie holding on to that second position so far. And the Mercedes doing a good job then for him. But the leader, that is Jasper, opening up now 1.3 seconds. And now surely the opportunity is that he can relax a little bit. Try not to push the tyres too hard. Try not to make a mistake. Like that. Well, exactly like that. There we are. Now he's got to push, yeah?
I mean, he was out of DRS. He had no reason to push whatsoever. And now he's going to have to, and he's going to leave himself open to mistakes. He has to find 1.5 seconds. Luckily for him, Lix is not in his DRS. But 3 laps left. These tyres aren't going to feel great. So I'm not sure whether he's going to be able to... Lix is no slow driver, so I think this all depends on how much Lix comes under pressure from the drivers behind.
I mean, well, Jordan's continuing his trend down the field, and just as I say, there is up the inside at the last corner. There is KXI having a look up the inside. Wasn't going to do that one up the inside there, but look at the DRS, I think. There is
look at third place battle real quick coming into turn 2.
Oh, there's a big... Oh, no! Oh, that's a horrible impact. That was horrible. Oh, my dear Lord, they touched and... Oh, dear. That is not what you want to be seeing. That was very, very bizarre. It just looked like Storm. I don't think he moved. I think that was just...
I don't think he did.
I just looked like they ran into each other there. It was a little bit of a misunderstanding. The Ramsam fastest lap. But, well, this is all just helping Mr. Walter right now, isn't it?
Yeah, this is what I was saying to you before the race, remember. Mr. Walter, not necessarily the fastest, but the reason he's leading the championship is because he stays out of trouble and he just gets those podium positions. And right now, he's very lucky that obviously this was a lap before. We may have got a safety car. So, he's looking at another podium at the moment. Potentially... second place, but obviously that depends a lot on the pace of Japsa, which I think he'll be okay. So third place at the moment for Walter is looking like.
Well, let's see. Look, this is a person who's taking his time right now. Look, he's not going for that move straight away. Rear end low, trying his best to prove me wrong by trying to spin him. But like I said with Japsa, he didn't need to push. Then pushed a little bit too hard and immediately got a penalty when I said he didn't need to do it, which is typical for me, isn't it? That just soon as you don't need something, I say it and it happens.
Yeah, and look at the gap now, 2.3 started to come down a little bit, hasn't it? We saw in that last sector, it was actually in 2.6, so Lix has gained a little bit there. Not sure whether that was just a poor sector from Japsa or the tyres are starting to change, but
wow, start.
He's got to find quite easily done. Doesn't pick up a penalty as Storm's going to try and hang it on the outside. No, he's going to back out of that.
Yeah, you can see the rest.
Yeah, 2.6 it's staying at. He's got to find another half a temp or so on Lix.
Yeah, the question is, like, can he open that gap a little more? How much is he going to push it? Well, he's down 4 temps, but that gap now, Esteban with a time penalty, that's not having a good day for the other Ferrari driver. He's down in 13th position. A long way off the order, by the way, but due to the fact he's... had that issues. Now Ramsam with a 3-second time penalty as well. Looking at those penalties quickly, it is 3-3-3-9 for Sorrenti, 12 for Ramsam and 9 for Esteban there. So a few issues for those guys down the back, but the gap now is... what's it like now? It's 2.7 seconds.
This is very, very close. This is all down to Lix, really. How fast can he push those medium tyres? 16 lap of mediums. It's 2.9. This is the sector where those softs are going to come into play the most.
3 seconds.
And we're there. He has got there. These corners here is going to get so much more grip.
It's back down.
It's coming up and down.
It's just
this is going to be very close.
Surely you'll have about 3 attempts, give or take a lap right now. There is now opening up on the exit. But all of a sudden down the straight, look how quick Lixie is compared to Jasper down the straight. It closes a couple of attempts. Now it's opening yet again as we get to the higher speed.
Got a better exit out of that last corner. Oh, this is really interesting. This is going to be very close for these guys. Later on down the field, we've got Sorrenti just getting past Jordan. Taking away 8th position there, but he has got a penalty, so nothing too much to shout about there. If anything, that brings Resify back into it. He was still fighting for points. Jordan passed Steve Day as well. Steve Day on the outside, breaks way too late, slams into Jordan. driving standards a little bit dodgy this race, I have to say. I think we might see a few complaints.
I think he might have just got away with that, you know. I don't think he hit him too badly, to be honest. I think if it was a glancing blow, if anything. Gap up front, though, keeping an eye on it, 3.2 seconds. So far, Jasper doesn't need to make any mistake right now. He needs to take these corners as aggressively but as calmly as feasibly possible, because he's got a 3/10 buffer here, and he'll win here in Sochi. We're keeping it. It's 4 temps, 3 temps, 4 temps. I think it's opening up ever so slightly right now. Lixie is pushing as hard as he can, but I think it's a little bit too late right now. Through the last 2 corners then. Jasper, he didn't need to push this hard, but then he got a penalty. Now he had to push hard, but through he comes. He's going to get it through the last corner. Jasper wins here in Sochi. Lixie across the line. He'll finish in 2nd. Wowster in 3rd. Storm in 4th. Then comes, well, it's going to be Stephen 4th. Jordan 5th. Rezify in 6th. Storm in 7th. Then comes KXI, then comes Jordan, then comes MCR, then Saronte, Naram Sam through the last corner, and then comes Esteban. And I'll tell you what, 4 attempts to gap, this has been a cracking little race.
Yeah, very, very good race. Some questionable moves I think we've seen there, but for the most part, look at the DNFs as well, 6 DNFs, claiming more victims this track, and as per usual, it's just a DNF central I found, which is very strange because it is quite an open track, isn't it? So it's odd that we see so many DNFs, but it's a very slippy track.
Yeah, most certainly. Well, your driver of the day by game is ERT Jordan right there, which is always nice to see. I'll tell you what, though, cracking battle throughout the field as we can look at your top 3 then. The Ferrari driver on the top step of the podium from the Mercedes, then the Red Bull. Now that is a nice sight to see. The 3 teams that are normally quite dominating in Formula 1 in the last few years, always at the top.
Yeah, it's nice to see a change, isn't it? But every now and again, we just get this old rubbish where we see the same people and a Dutch top 3, apparently.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It's the Dutch are taking over. Right now, it's a top 3 for all of them.
Top 4.
Top 4. The Dutch are reigning supreme here in Sochi then. Of course, we'll run through the order. Jasper from Lexi, Watster from Steve, Jordan, Rezify from Storm as well. Then comes KXI ahead of Ariel Jordan. Then comes MCR, Saronte ahead of Narabsan and Esteban. Then comes Connect ahead of Jelly, Melty, Plodder, Aledi and Ryan B at the back. But I tell you what a cracking race we just had there.
Honestly, I think we got treated there with that penalty because it would have been quite anticlimactic, wouldn't it? We kind of knew who was winning with a few laps left, and then Japsa picks up that penalty, gave us to rave about until the last lap, and who doesn't love a last lap fight for the win?
Yeah, most certainly. Cracking little stuff right there. Of course, in terms of driver interviews, I think I might skip that one today because I do have to go pretty quickly, I believe, as I've just been asked to do something afterwards. So I was around the stream off a little bit earlier right here, so no driver interviews. But next week we shall hopefully get all of everything back. We'll have, of course, Ben back after his week break, which is good to see. But I want to say thank you for joining me, by the way, Nolan. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, it's been good to be back in the D4Com booth. I've followed most of these people in the title fight so far, so it's good to see not much has changed. The same people fighting, the same people scrapping, and I think you're down for a very good fight for the championship. Oh,
most certainly I will be. But on that bombshell here in Sochi then, I have been Evil. Nolan has been Nolan. Until next week, of course, we shall see you there. Hopefully everyone has a nice rest of the week. Until next time, take care and goodbye.